hard to stop Canelo. And if you can't stop Canelo, how do you get the decision?
I can do whatever I want.
Terence Crawford 100% is presenting a challenge that Canelo is not necessarily familiar with.
I'm the best fighter in the world. September 13th, it'll be proven.
The boxing world is buzzing as Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford collide in one of the most anticipated fights of this era. With champions, legends, and analysts all split on who has the edge, the matchup is shaping up to be a true test of size, skill, and legacy. Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford shared a tense face-off in Las Vegas, standing locked in front of the Bellagio fountains. The stage is now set for 13th of September at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, where the fight will finally answer the questions dividing the boxing world. So first of all, the legend Andre Ward explained that when two fighters like Canelo and Crawford meet, both with world-class skills, experience, and resilience, it's nearly impossible to pick a clear winner. He highlighted how evenly matched they are in mindset and ability, making this fight more about seeing who bends first under pressure than making an easy prediction.
I liked it. I think both fighters got just as much as they gave. You know, everybody's so quick to want to pick a winner and pick this and that. Man, when you got skill set at this level, when you got this level of stubbornness, when you got this much experience, when you got dudes that haven't been turned away either at all in Terence Crawford's or in Canelo's case very often, you can't pick a clear-cut winner.
Meanwhile, Roy Jones Jr. broke the fight down differently. He stated that Crawford has several paths to victory while Canelo's options are more limited. He didn't call a clear winner but suggested Crawford's hunger and drive could play a big role. For Jones, the biggest question is whether Canelo still has the fire and motivation, because if not, it could cost him.
I think there are several ways for Bud to win it, but one way for Canelo to lose it. I ain't gonna disclose none of that, but that's just my thoughts.
We'll do that as we get closer.
Exactly.
Yeah. But do you feel comfortable saying who you think the winner gonna be?
No, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna feel comfortable saying it because I like both guys. And when you got two guys of their caliber, you can't really count either guy out. You know that yourself.
That's a fact.
Bud is a champion. That says a lot. And on top of that, Bud is still hungry. You understand me? Canelo did his thing too, but I don't know if he got that hunger still left in him. You understand me? And that's what I think, that's the only thing that bothers me. If he's still hungry, then we in for a good night. But if he's not hungry, it's gonna be rough.
But Teddy Atlas predicted clearly he leaned toward Crawford. He noted that Canelo now relies more on timing and counterpunching instead of high activity, and while that's still dangerous, Atlas believes Crawford's speed, movement, and energy give him the edge. In his view, Crawford can dictate the fight from the outside, which is why he's picking him to win.
Canelo is not as busy as he used to be. Now, in some ways, it served him like a fine wine getting better. You know, he picks his spots, he counter punches, you know, he carries good power, he's accurate, you know, he doesn't waste anything. That's a nice thing. I don't know if that nice thing will serve him with Crawford, who's moving up in weight, who's faster, who can maneuver and use his legs. I know he's 37, but he's not used up. He doesn't have a lot of miles on the odometer, Crawford. So I'm looking for my synopsis of it. My overview would be I'm looking for Crawford to win the outside.
On the other hand, Chris Algieri stressed that the main obstacle for Crawford is Canelo's natural size and strength at super middleweight, having even fought as high as light heavyweight. He explained that Canelo can hurt opponents not just with knockouts, but by breaking them down with heavy boot and arm shots as seen in past fights. While he respects Crawford's skill, Algieri ultimately gave his pick to Canelo, believing the size and physicality would be too much to overcome.
I think we're seeing that with Canelo, this version of Canelo Alvarez. But he's still a true 168-pounder. He's still got very fast hands. He's very explosive. He is a good puncher. He knocks all these guys down, so obviously he has the respect to hit bigger bodies. And he's fought as high as 75. So he's definitely going to have that size advantage. And, you know, a guy like Crawford who's coming up so many weight classes. And it's not like he's coming up from his first weight class. He's coming up from his fourth weight class, you know, and then he's jumping 2 weight classes. So the size difference is going to be there. They got different size structure, like body structure, their bones. You know, Crawford's got to be really careful. Even getting hit on the arms and the shoulders and the hips where we've seen Canelo actually damage guys. Think of the Callum Smith fight where he's punching him in the arm. He's really deaded that left hook, which is his best weapon. So that's where that comes into play in terms of the size. Even though Canelo isn't that knockout puncher like he used to be, or a guy who gets stoppages, he's still much bigger and he can still punch.
Adding to the confidence in Crawford, his sparring partner, Al Stanton, expressed full confidence in him, predicting that Crawford would defeat Canelo. Crawford is training with the sharpness and energy of a 25-year-old, insisting the fight won't be a problem.
For 37 years old, like, he's training like he's like 25. Like, I don't think there'll be no problem at all.
So from the sounds of it, you're quite confident Terence will defeat Canelo on Saturday?
Correct.
Similarly, Jermel Charlo kept it short and straight to the point. He didn't want to predict an official winner, but made it clear that Crawford has the tools to beat Canelo if he executes his game plan perfectly. However, he also warned that if Crawford slips or fails to do what's necessary, Canelo will take over. In other words, his performance will decide the outcome.
We got a couple more days and y'all gonna see Canelo fighting Crawford. So I ain't got no comment on who gonna win the fight, you dig? If Crawford do what he's supposed to do, he got an option. If he don't beat Canelo. Simple as that. You know? If Crawford don't do what he gotta do, he gonna lose. Don't ask me who gonna win. I'm not the judge of the fight. I'm not even fighting, you know? I'm just chilling. Yeah. I'm back on the Pebble Beach of the Maybach. The Rolls Royce, sorry.
Likewise, Nonito Donaire broke it down as a 50-50 fight. He pointed out that Crawford's skills, speed, and versatility make him dangerous, while Canelo's size, strength, and power give him the edge at this weight. Donaire also noted that Canelo historically has struggled with fighters who move around a lot, something Crawford does well. In his view, both men bring different advantages, which is why he sees the fight as evenly balanced and highly entertaining.
Crawford is very skillful. He's very talented. He can box, he can brawl, he can do anything. But then Canelo also has that power to neutralize things. But he've always had problem with people who walks or runs around him or moves around him. So that's the question that I have to give it a 50-50 because I give Canelo the power, the leverage in this weight, but then I give the skills and the talent and the speed to Crawford. And that's why this is going to be a very, very, very interesting and entertaining fight. And I'm grateful that this fight is happening.
Pat Killian echoed the same sentiment, calling it a clash of greatness. He highlighted Crawford's experience and confidence after beating Errol Spence and noted how Canelo's experience makes him equally dangerous. While many questioned Crawford's size, Killian pointed out that up close, Crawford is just as tall and strong, making this bout even more compelling.
Well, we got two extremely fantastic fighters. I love the confidence of Crawford. I love undefeated. The way that he beat Errol. He's coming into this full of confidence, and you can see that at the press conferences. And Canelo is Canelo. He's seen it all and done it all. So this is making up for a great fight. And people saying that early on that Crawford was too small, I knew straight away because obviously I've seen Crawford up front, and he's as tall as me, if not, yeah, he's tall as me. And so he's as we've seen now in the the face-off and that. He's the same, and actually Crawford is a very strong guy.
Meanwhile, Nick Pete believed the fight would likely go the distance as he doesn't see Canelo stopping Crawford. He acknowledged that Canelo could rise to the occasion, but still, he stressed that Crawford's finishing instincts make him especially dangerous. Once Crawford hurts an opponent, he doesn't hesitate to close the show.
I honestly could see it. I could absolutely see it, but I can also see Canelo turning back the clock and rising to the occasion.
Do you see Canelo stopping Crawford?
No.
I don't see a stoppage in the fight. I see this going the distance.
I don't know, because Crawford's a nasty bastard. Crawford goes after you. When Crawford gets you hurt, this is when you talk about Terence Crawford, you have to appease the fact that when he gets you hurt, he finishes you. He doesn't wait. He doesn't show pony like Shakur or, a couple of other fighters. he goes for it.
In contrast, Fernando Vargas Jr., who respected Crawford's skills and admits he's strong from sparring with him, ultimately gives the edge to Canelo. He pointed to Canelo's vast experience and proven track record against elite fighters, believing that while Crawford might find some early success, Canelo's power would eventually take over and secure him the victory.
I know we were talking earlier a little bit, and you're picking Canelo. Talk to me about it.
I just see Canelo, it's his resume. You know, he's going into this fight. He's fought, Cotto, he's fought Mayweather, he's fought all these different fighters, Trout, former world champions that give him that mental edge. He'll have early success with Canelo early, maybe snapping his head back. You see Canelo picking up fighters when he gets frustrated. But I think Canelo will end up putting his punches together, and I think that power would just be too much. I don't think Terence Crawford could withstand Canelo's best shot, but that's what makes it, a good fight and a fight that fight fans definitely want to see.
Furthermore, Boozy also shared his thoughts, acknowledged that Canelo is the bigger man, but made it clear his pick comes from knowing Crawford personally. He described Crawford as a silent killer with a dangerous spirit that comes out when challenged, and he's confident that Crawford will beat Canelo.
Now, are you just picking Crawford because you know him? And it's fine if you say yes.
I know his spirit.
Yeah?
Yeah, he got a killer in him. He a silent killer. I've been around niggas like that in the hood. Them niggas lay back until you bring it out of them, then they just, I've been like that with them niggas. Like I didn't watch Crawford. I didn't hung out with this nigga. This is my boy. Like this nigga got a killer in him. Canelo better be fucking ready like this nigga.
According to Sean Potter, he explained that both Canelo and Crawford are slow starters, but warned that Canelo could not afford to give away early rounds. He believed Canelo needs to start faster despite concerns about his stamina. Otherwise, Crawford could take control once he finds his rhythm. Potter also noted that Crawford's switching stance adds another layer of unpredictability, making this a dangerous and evenly matched fight.
Canelo has created this rhythm of starting fights slow, which is how Bud, he's known for being a slow starter as well. And so between the two of them, it could be a lot of posturating in the first round. We know Canelo to do this, and a lot of feints, and we could get that. I'm not sure what game plan Bud and his team have in terms of how they want to start this fight. You got two great counterpunchers in the ring too. This thing it's dangerous for both guys, I think early, it might be Bud punching first. It might be Canelo trying to catch his timing. Canelo can't wait. Canelo can't allow 2 or 3 rounds to go by of Bud doing what he does.
Virgil Ortiz thought Canelo would win because of his size advantage, and he argued that a naturally bigger great fighter usually beats a smaller one. He noted Crawford's quick jump from 147 to 168 without experience at the weight could backfire, as adding size might make him slower or uncomfortable. Ortiz felt Canelo's physicality gave him the edge in the fight.
I think Canelo should win, just based on the fact that he's the bigger fighter. I think a bigger great fighter will beat a smaller great fighter. I think, they both were arguably #1 pound for pound in their given time. I just think Canelo just has the size advantage. He's quote unquote struggled against bigger fighters. Crawford was 147, moved up to 154, fought one time, and now he's going to 168. He's not going to be the bigger fighter unless he really bulks up.
And on the other side, Stephen Fulton picked Crawford to win and respects him for stepping up against a naturally bigger fighter. He relates to that challenge himself. Fulton felt Crawford's skills could make the fight competitive, and if he pulls it off, it will greatly boost his legacy and resume.
I like Crawford for challenging himself. Like, that's the type of things I do and I've done. So I like anybody that's willing to challenge themselves. Whether it's money or not, you still have the heart to go in there and challenge the bigger guy. So, but I think it's gonna be, I think if Crawford uses his boxing ability, then it'll be a better fight for him. If Crawford wins, then it makes his resume 10 times better.
William Skull, who already shared the ring with Canelo and came up short, doesn't agree with Stephen Fulton. He stated that the weight difference is the key factor in this fight, and he looks at the matchup at 75-25 in Canelo's favor, convinced that Crawford will struggle with the size and strength at 168.
Sinceramente es una gran pelea, ¿no? Una gran pelea para la afición, pero
Si no hubiera tanta desventaja de peso, la pelea fuera 50-50. Pero como hay desventaja de peso, la pelea está un 75, hay una diferencia y creo que Canelo va a ser el victorioso esa noche. Creo que no debería plantarse en el medio ring. Crawford es un boxeador, tiene muchas habilidades, creo que debería desplazarse un poquito, mover un poquito las piernas y entrar y salir. Y no plantarse en el medio ring, porque en el medio ring Canelo está mucho más fuerte.
Similarly, Callum Smith admitted he keeps going back and forth on his pick. He feels Crawford's speed and slickness could trouble Canelo early, but ultimately thinks Canelo's natural size at super middleweight will take over as the fight goes on. For Smith, Crawford's lack of experience at 168 is a key factor, which is why he leans toward Canelo.
It's a good fight, to be honest with you. They keep swapping and changing. Part of me sometimes thinks Canelo's not the fighter he was. He's still a very good fighter, but I do think he's on the slide a little bit, and maybe Crawford might be a little bit too fast and too slick, but I don't know, when I seen him head-to-head, I just think Canelo's naturally that little bit too big, and as good as Crawford is, he's had one fight at 154, and he's now skipping 160 and going to 168 against a solid super middleweight. So I don't know, I think size tells as the fight goes on. I think Crawford will have success early, but I think the natural size will play a part, and I'm going to go with Canelo, but I may change my mind in the next couple of days.
Additionally, Gareth A. Davies also believed Canelo is more likely to get the decision in Las Vegas. He felt Crawford has the skills, but adding extra weight could slow him down. He expected Canelo to win, but unless Crawford shocks everyone with a stoppage. A draw and potential rematch are also possible.
A very close fight anyway. And I don't think Crawford will get the decision in Vegas. I think Canelo will get it. And I went Crawford at the beginning. I really pushed for this fight from a long time ago, when Turki Al-Sheikh first came on the scene and the Saudi Arabians came on the scene. I think it's brilliant that he's underwritten this. I think Crawford he's obviously bulked up. I don't know if those photos are real or not, the ones that have appeared on social media. Will it be a surprise? Yeah, I think it'll be a real surprise.
Meanwhile, Showbiz the Adult acknowledged Crawford's elite skill, but ultimately predicted that Canelo would stop him. He felt Crawford would simply be too good for the fight not to be competitive, yet Canelo's size and power would give him the edge. At the same time, he noted that Crawford's recent workout photo shows he's in tremendous shape, silencing those who thought his bulked up photos were fake.
Listen, Terence Crawford is too good for it to not be competitive for as long as it lasts, right? I just think Canelo is gonna knock him out. I think he's gonna stop him. I mean, he probably not knock him out cold, but I think he's going to stop him. All right. Now, but what I can say is I saw Terence Crawford, his last workout shit, and for all of you guys who said that this photo was photoshopped.
On the Poderweight podcast, Sean Zittel sided with Canelo, pointing to his power, toughness, and steady pressure as factors that could break Crawford down, even if he starts slow. He also praised Canelo's defense and precision. Meanwhile, Anthony Branagh leaned the other way, backing Crawford's skill set, his counterpunching, stance switching, and body work to carry him to a decision win.
I got Canelo. I think ultimately it'll be hard for Crawford to stop him from going downhill. And I think even if Canelo's a little sloppy with it, if his punch resistance is still there, he doesn't just gas out halfway through, he might be able to be losing rounds, taking more punches than Crawford, but just be a little too much physically for him as a force. And then if he tightens up, Crawford will find him a little harder to hit than he might anticipate, because Canelo, when he's on point with his feints and his head movement, has got great defense and underrated accuracy and underrated speed. So, but even if that stuff doesn't show up, as long as he's still strong and his punch resistance and his fighting spirit are strong enough to just stay on Crawford all 12, he might just be too much. Or Bud will put on the masterpiece. I saw it coming, but I'm picking Canelo.
You know, I'm riding with my man, okay? I think my man just, the counter punching, the switching styles, the body work, the break the Mexican down, that didn't take his head late. So I'm going with Crawford by decision.
In training camp, both fighters are drilling that 90-degree power shot, pure precision meets raw force, and if either lands clean in fight night, it could change everything in a split second. The stage is set for one of boxing's biggest showdowns, Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. From tense face-offs in Las Vegas to legends and champions weighing in, the fight has the world divided. Some point to Canelo's size, strength, and proven dominance at super middleweight, while others believe Crawford's speed, precision, and hunger can rewrite history. This isn't just size versus skill, it's legacy versus legacy. Crawford is chasing the chance to become the first 3-division undisputed champion, while Canelo looks to remind the world why he's still the face of boxing. Every punch, every round, every moment will matter, and the answer to who reigns supreme will echo far beyond fight night. Who do you think takes it? Canelo's power or Crawford's brilliance? Drop your predictions in the comments, smash that like button, and subscribe to the channel for more exclusive fight coverage, breakdowns, and analysis.